Hey y'all. So I just downloaded a copy of the professor spreadsheet for the Grateful Lodge. I am going to walk us all through it, and then hopefully I will do everything correctly. Like hopefully I did everything correctly last time. But I just want to call out something here. In the given that is incorrect. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet as it is without me doing anything to it. Right here, it says Grateful Lodge is committed to 34 GARPs for 2.5 men, and they must be placing 2 insertions with 2.5 men at 200,000 each. The placement total of 400,000. So this right here, this statement directly contradicts with this statement because here she says it's 34 GRPs for dancing. Here she says it's 34 GRPs for 2.5 men. This one is correct. This one is incorrect. How we know that this one is correct and this one is incorrect is because this number here needs to be divisible by the rating, right? So here we have 2.5 men with rating of 17. 17 times 2 obviously is 34. And that's how she's doing that math, right? 2 insertions times $200,000 each equals 400,000. Okay. So this is just a typo here, right? So what it should actually say is that they're committed to spending 34 GRPs for 2.5 men and 48 for dancing. Okay. And this is like by her own admission with this question here. All right. And so like same thing with here. Since Grateful Lodge is committed to 48 GRPs for dancing, they must be placing 3 insertions at 200,000 each. Same thing, right? 16 times 3 equals 48. 200,000 times 3 equals 600,000, right? So they're committed to spending 1.2 million. This year, this given is correct, right? 1.2 million minus 400,000 minus 600,000 equals 200,000. So that is what is left in their budget, $200,000. Okay, so now the question is, what can they buy that is worth $200,000? So for $200,000, they could buy 1 insertion with ESPN and 1 with Ugly Betty, right? 100,000 for this one, 100,000 plus for this one, that equals 200,000. Alternative 2, they could do 2 insertions of Ugly Betty, okay? Makes sense as well. 100,000 times 2. Or they can do 2 of ESPN, right? So these numbers just have to add up to 200,000, right? Because that's the budget that we have remaining. Okay. So now we're going to get in to all of this. What? Okay. For some reason, I think it's still pulling information from my old one. Maybe not. Okay. It's whatever. Anyways, I'll just walk you guys through it. So, for 2.5 men, the rating is 17, right? Is 17, and they are committed to buying 34 insertions, right? 17 times 2, 34. All right, for this one, Dancing with the Stars, 16 times 3. 16 times 3 insertions equals 48, right? So for this first alternative here, the question is, what do we get if we do 1 insertion of ESPN and 1 insertion of Ugly Betty? So we're going to go look at the rating for Ugly Betty. Ugly Betty has a rating of 14. So we're going to do 14 times 1 insertion. You get 14. Okay. 1 insertion of ESPN. So let's see what ESPN is worth. What's ESPN's rating? ESPN's rating is worth 6. So we're going to do 6 times 1 equals 6. Here we go. All right. Next, let's check out alternative 2. We are doing 2 insertions of 2.5 men. 17 times 2 equals 34. Got that. 3 insertions of dancing, as always. 16 times 3 equals 48. And now we have 2 insertions of Ugly Betty. So Ugly Betty, again, let's look at the chart. Ugly Betty is worth 14. Okay, so we have 14, and we said 2 insertions of Ugly Betty, so that gives us 28. Okay, right, 14. Yep, it was worth 14. Okay, doing 2 insertions. All right, so for this ESPN is worth 6. We're doing no insertions. This is worth 0. Here, 2 insertions of ESPN. It's worth 6 times 2. That gives us 12. 0 of Ugly Betty. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and move into this math here. Okay. So total GRPs we have is 102. These reaches are givens, right? We already have this. And how she's getting this formula is it's this plus this plus this, blah, 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 divided by 100, right? So each of these little ones here, this reach, is you get this by adding up all of these numbers, right? So like, so she did 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5, right? So it's all of these numbers getting added up together. And if you're curious to know how she got these numbers, right? She got these numbers from this chart here. Okay. So we know that Ugly Betty plus The Good Wife plus Dancing. Okay. So let's see. Ugly Betty plus The Good Wife plus Dancing. Oh, I think this is supposed to say The Good Wife plus 2.5 men. Or it's supposed to say Ugly plus 2.5 men plus Dancing. So that's a little confusing there. So that's, I don't know why that's that way. Okay, whatever. Shit. All right, next we have Dancing plus 2.5 men. So that overlap is 5%. So we actually do see that here. That's that overlap here. Okay, so I'm gonna go through real quick and just highlight everything that she has that's wrong with this, right? Good Wife is not a thing. Good Wife, that's not listed in the programs here. Okay. Same here. Good Wife is not listed as a program here. This given here directly contradicts this information that's being listed here. Okay. This one's saying 34 GRPs for 2.5 men. This one is saying 34 GRPs for Dancing. We know that this one is correct because even in the math that she has, for example, here, it is showing that 2.5 men is 34 GRPs. So that is why people are getting very confused with this. That's definitely the reason why people are getting confused with this. So anyways, so how she got the reach was she added up all of these numbers here: 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Sorry. So just add all of these numbers here, right? 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 2, 3, 5, 4, 4, 5. Right? So if let's just try that out. 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, we'll just start over real quick. Hopefully I can click this video. Okay, so you get 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5. Right, what does that give us? 35. Okay, that's this number here. That's a 35 reach. This frequency here, this is a given. Let's see how she got this. She is adding cell C40. Okay. She's adding C40 divided by C42. So she's taking the total GRPs divided by reach to get frequency. Okay. All right. So now we are going to go ahead and look at these and see how many exposures we got. Okay. So we know that our reach was 35%. So only 35% of the population saw it at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go equals 100. Here's this percentage. 100 minus 35. It should be 65%. So we're going to go 1.0 minus 0.35 because we're doing percentages. We give us 65%. Okay. Now we're going to count out how many people got like one exposure. Okay. So we'll look at this. And we'll see how many times we got one. So for this one exposure here, let's see. So the exposure is this thing right here. This one, right? So who only got one exposure? This was five people. So people who only saw the ad one time was 5 people. Here, oh look it over here. We also have one exposure, 5 people. Okay, so that's actually 10%. We have 5 plus 5. Okay, now let's see how many people saw the ad twice, right? So this is 2 exposures. So we have 2.5 men, right? So that's 6%. And let's see if anyone else got 2 exposures. So it would be also the intercept of 1 and 1, right? So 2 and 1, that would be 3, so that's not there. 1 and 2, that would be 3, so that's not there either, right? So the only ones who have actually gotten one exposure, this one exposure here, seen the ad one time, this 5 and this 5. People who have seen who's been exposed twice would only be this one right here, 2.5 men. Okay, now let's see who's seen the ad 3 times, right? So people who have seen the ad 3 times would be the intersection of 1 plus 2. So that's 1 here. Okay, we have 1. And then it would also be the intersection of 1 and 2 here. So we have 2. And then it would also be this because it says 3 exposures here, right? So that would be 4. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 would give us 7. Okay. Now let's see how many people have seen the ad 4 times. Okay. So we need to find something that adds up to 4. So 1 plus 3 equals 4. So we're going to see where that intersection is. In the Venn diagram, it's this intersection here, so that's 4%. Okay. Now, do we have anyone else that's seen the ad just 4 times? Right, 1 plus 3, only the intersection here. Wouldn't be an intersection here, wouldn't be an intersection here, wouldn't be an intersection here. Okay, now let's see who's seen the ad 5 times. Okay, so we need something that adds up to 5. So we have 2 and 3, that adds up to 5, right? So the intersection of just 2 and just 3 is 5 here, this 5. So we're going to give 5% here. All right, now we need to find an exposure of 6. So something that adds up to 6. So 2 plus 3 plus 1, that equals 6. Okay, so we need to find the intersection of 2, 3, and 1. That's this number right here. That's that 3. All right, now we need to find 2, 3, yeah, okay. Now we need to find something that adds up to 7. Okay, do we have anything that adds up to 7, 1, and 2? Nope. How about this one? 1 and 2? Nope. How about this one? 1, 2, and 3? Nope, that would be 6. So we have nothing that adds up to 7, so that would be 0% here. And that would be 0% here. And how do we know we did the math right? Because this total should equal 100% at the end. Okay, so we got that. Sorry for the confusion. Again, the major mistakes that are here is that the good wife does not exist, right? This 3% that she's listing here, it should actually be 2.5 men listed here, because that's what that actual intersection is. The good wife here, this 1%, again, that's 2.5 men. That's what's wrong with it. So sorry that it's confusing. But I will definitely try to give this feedback. All right, let's go ahead and do this next one. So these total GRPs, this is automatically added up from this plus this plus this plus this. This gives us our GRPs. We know how we came to these numbers, right? Our reach is 30%. And we get 30% from adding up all of these numbers. So if you want to practice it, let's try to add up the numbers, okay? It's 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5. So 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5. And that gave us 30. Okay. And so 110 and then times 0.3. Oh, sorry. 110 divided by 0.3. I'm sorry. It gives us 3.667. Ah. Sorry. So that's what it's saying here, right? I-40, 110 divided by 30% gives us this frequency. Frequency equals GRP divided by reach. Okay. So let's look at this, right? So we know only 30% saw the added all. So we're going to say it's 1.0 minus 0.3, an equal sign first, obviously. All right. Okay. Equals. %. God damn it. I don't know. My computer is like flipping the fuck out. There we go. All right. Now, who had just one exposure? None of these have one exposure. This has 2, this has 2, this has 3. So we have 0 for one exposure. Now let's see how many just had 2. This is just 2, and this is just 2. So we're going to add this 7 here, plus this 5. That's going to give us 12. Okay. Now let's look at 3 exposures. So we need something that adds up to 3. 2 plus 2 equals 4, so that's not there. 2 plus 3, that equals 5, so it's not there. The only thing that has just 3 exposures is this 4 here, okay? So, just 4%. Okay. Now, let's see who has 4 exposures. So 4 exposures would be either 3 and 1, which does not exist here, or it would be 2 and 2. So the intersection of 2 and 2 is this one right here. So that's 2%. Now we need to find something with 5 exposures, right? So that would be 2 and 3. 2 plus 3. Let's see what the intersection is. That's 4%. Okay, are we missing any others? Let's see, 5. So, okay. So 2 and 3. We have another intersection here that's 5. So we have 5 and 4. So that would give us 9%. 9%. Okay, now we need something with 6 exposures. So, do we have anything that adds up to 6? 2 and 2 would be 4, plus 3 would be 7. So we actually don't have anything here whose intersection would equal up to 6. So we're going to put 0 there. However, 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. So we need the intersection of all three, which is 3 here. Okay. Now, anything that added up to 8? No, there shouldn't be because all the biggest numbers added up to 7. Okay, so 0% here. And how do we know it's right? Because the total at the end equals 100%. I'm so sorry if I'm being confusing. I know it's shitty. Okay, so here we have total GRPs 94, reach is 30%. And we know how we found frequency, right? GRPs divided by reach equals this frequency number. Okay, so let's see who had 0 exposures. For this one, it's 70% again, right? Because 1.0 minus 0.3 is 0.7, which is 70%. And then let's see who's had 1 exposure. 2, 2, 3. None of these equal 1, so that's 0%. Okay, let's see who has 2. We have 2 for ESPN. Okay, ESPN gives us 5 exposures, and we have 2 exposures for 2.5 men with no intersection, right? So it's 5 plus 8, so 13%. Okay, now let's see if we have any that have just 3. Okay, 2 plus 2 would be 4, so it's not this one. 2 plus 3 would be 5, so it's not this one. But this one here, 3 exposures, that is 8. It's 8 views right there, okay. And okay, so moving on, we need an intersection of 2 and 2 because we need 4 exposures. So 2 plus 2 equals 4. We're looking for 4 exposures. The intersection there is 1%. Okay. Next, we're looking for 5 exposures. So we need 2 plus 3 exposures. 2 plus 3 exposures, that intersection is 8. Okay. Now, that adds up to 100. Those are the only 2 intersections that we even have here. So the rest is 0. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, so what is the best campaign for maximizing frequency? Okay, so the best campaign for maximizing frequency is, let's see which one has the highest frequency. This one has 2.914, this one has 3.667, this one has 3.133. So the biggest one is this one. So if we're looking to maximize exposure, we want alternative 2. Alternative 2. Okay. What is the average frequency for that campaign? It's this number here. Okay. Determine by how much this campaign exceeds or fails to meet 15% viewing the ad 3 or more times per week. Okay, so we need 15% of the population viewing 3 or more times per week. So right here, 3 or more views per week. 3 or more views per week. What percentage of the population exceeds or fails to meet 15%? So we have 18%. And so our answer would be 15 plus 3% equals 18%. It exceeded 15% by 3%, right? So 18 minus 15 equals 3. Okay, now the average frequency per week. So this is going to be the average for all of them, I believe, right? So we're going to average this plus this plus this. And then divide it by 3. So let's find a blank space to do this. So equals this plus this plus this, close parentheses, divide that by 3. That is 3.238. 2, 3, 8.
It makes you feel better. It's turn 4, and all I played.
All right. Now, let's see. What is the best campaign to maximize our reach? Okay, so we are looking for the one with the highest reach. So this one has 35, this one has 30, this one has 30, right? So the highest reach is this one, alternative 1. All right, what is the reach of this campaign? 35%, right? Okay. What is the total number of gross rating points for this campaign? So what is the GRP for this campaign? It is 102. So the reach of the campaign is, I don't know why she's asking it twice, but the reach of the campaign is 35%, and the GRP for this one is 102. Okay. So hopefully this question, the average frequency, hopefully this is referring to it in general and not just for alternative 2. Because it says, what is the average frequency of this campaign? And this one is like, what's the average frequency like of viewings per week? So that is a question that we will have to probably get the professor to confirm. I'm going to send her this video once I'm done too. Okay, question 4. Which plan do you recommend and why? These are actually answered for us already for some reason. So let's see, it says the answer depends on how much frequency you feel the need to meet the promotional objective. If the consumer only needs to see the ad once, then you want Alt 1. If you only need to maximize the average frequency, you prefer alternative 2. If all the program meets the secondary objective of getting 15% of the audience exposed 3 plus times. So I guess it depends on like what the case write-up says. I just keep this in mind. We'll just have this in to study. What can we generally say about number of different shows and the trade-off between reach and frequencies? Again, like these are already answered for us. In general, if shows are equally expensive in terms of cost per viewer, the greater number of shows, the higher the reach will be. In general, adding shows with lower cost per viewer also gives higher frequency, in part because you can afford more total GRPs. So those are answered for you as well. So, I mean, I'm hoping that the professor only wanted us to answer these yellow parts. However, this part here is a little confusing because I'm not sure if this question, just wants us to repeat our answer here as it does in this case. But yeah, I mean, at least that's how you do like the math and you figure out the rest of the problem. Again, issues with this spreadsheet is that the good wife isn't even an option on these, and the given here directly contradicts the given here. Okay, thanks guys.